Last time on the lands that make us.
Are there pirates in Perian?
You been talking to old Sharna?
Who's Sharna?
She should be here tonight for the fight.
Good. A brawling of pirates.
She'll cast the water breathing scrolls, then tuck in both water walking scrolls into her bag.
How about we go get some eel toxin, we go explore the trapped hallways, we come back and meet your pirates, and then we drug you at midnight. I think that sounds like a great day.
That does sound like a lot of fun.
I'm sorry, I did not catch your name.
Smythe. Lord Engineer Smythe. The captain sent 7 guards before going himself. None had returned. As you look over the ground, a bit of red does catch your eye. Small red crystals in the color of this deep crimson red.
Is this person we are looking for made of rock?
Venet. These an earth genasi.
Alright, well, if that is the case, we should hurry along. He might be badly injured.
All right, well, how about you lead the way, Sherrilyn? As you said, you have an inquisitive eye, and it's already proven quite effective.
Puts a finger under her eye and smirks, and she will boldly take the lead. She's constantly holding the light out just in front of her, looking very carefully at the walls and the floor and the ceiling as this space narrows and narrows as they get further down.
Yeah, absolutely. As it narrows to a single file, there's a very dramatic right turn along the cave way. Like a very sudden, very edged turn where you see the cave wall in front of you and then just a hallway to your right.
She's gonna plaster her hand holding the torch up against the edge of the wall so that the light goes around the corner, and just sort of like peer half a head out to see what she can see.
Yeah, the space opens up dramatically. You guys have walked quite a ways now, and in front of you is a 3-paneled floor. Each of these panels, 5 feet by 10 feet, filling the hallway in front of you, this large open space. You see a rampway that seems to descend out of your line of sight. The 3 panels in front of you amongst the floor each have a symbol on them. The one to the leftmost has this large sigil of a scaled dragon, its belly shown, its mouth open, and it extends from the base of the panel to the top. The center panel has a very small figure, a small looking bird that seems to flutter about the space as a couple of different versions of this bird are moved throughout it. One on the ground, one taking flight, and one towards the top. On the right is a panel with a central peacock, and the rest of the stonework is beautifully built up of individually carved tail feathers that fill the entire panel. And these 4 panels make up the floor up to this descending rampway.
So we have to cross this to get to the rampway? Is that the idea?
There's 3 paths in front of you made up of these large tablets. One has the symbol of a dragon exposing its belly. One has 3 pictures of this small bird taking flight with kind of a long beak. And the third has a peacock at the center and then covered with feathers behind it.
Dragon on its belly, 3 birds taking flight, peacock with many feathers. How many feathers does the peacock have?
So many. It takes up the rest of the tile. You can take some time to count them if you'd like.
So, are the tiles conjoined?
Yes.
And they go wall to wall?
It's a good 10 feet from this large opening in the hallway to the rampway at the back.
I mean, we can't go around them. We'll have to cross them.
Yes.
And the ceiling?
It's pretty tall.
Plato, what do you think this could mean? Are these some Perian hieroglyphs?
Not as far as I know. Perian has no dragons. These birds might be native to the area around here.
As you take the birds in and go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
Okay, just straight up and down intelligence.
Investigation check is actually more appropriate.
Investigation. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a 12 plus 5, 17.
As you inspect the birds closer and try to make out like what specific type of bird it is, take it in, look at the long beak. They're kingfishers.
Dragon, kingfishers, peacock. 1, 3. You said there were a lot of peacock feathers, not just like 4, so it's not like a progressive order or anything like that. I think they might represent things. The dragon showing its belly. That feels symbolic.
Is its belly swollen?
Like it just ate someone, you mean?
Yes. Why is it not flying? Like the dragons that you saw before?
Some dragons are content to be in their hoard. Seems like this is one such one, something that's accrued wealth.
Does it have wings in the picture?
It does. They're kind of behind it as it's curled up, like in an action pose, but you see the base of its wings.
Inara's gonna crouch down at the base of the panels. Can she see, like, is there a crack around the edge? Does this look like it moves? Like it could open like a trapdoor, for example, or slide?
Yeah, roll me an investigation check.
Nice. Investigation +3, so 21.
21? Yeah. You look underneath individual panels at the creases between them. They're definitely weighted. Like if you were to step on them, it would activate some sort of mechanism. As you look around the room, you see small holes and creases all along the walls here, kind of unsure what it'll set it off and what's connected to what. But you can tell without a doubt, looking this over, that all 3 of these seem to set off something if they were to be pressured by some sort of weight.
Okay, so she'll definitely communicate that to the rest of the group. Okay, these aren't just pathways. Stepping on this will trigger something. And then she looks around at all the divots on the walls. I cannot say what, though.
It's difficult to sort of try and figure out the meaning of symbols without knowing the context of their presenter. Aoife said that our trap maker might be a bastard. Can I roll like maybe a history check or an arcana based on the Sherrilyn's question of the like Perian hieroglyphics thing to see if tarot like there might be some other meaning I can acquire or assign to these images?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got an 11. But wait, you said no wait, history +2. So 13.
13. Are there peacocks in Perian?
I think so, because there's those aviaries in Bragg where they keep very pretty birds. So I'm sure like there's not native peacocks, no.
Yeah, I mean, looking through these, what was your total there?
13.
13. Yeah, looking through these, I think you know that there are like some peacocks in the aviaries, throughout Perian, but of these 3, you definitely don't know any naturally occurring dragons here, especially like you've learned in Luxoria. The kingfisher seems to be the only natural species to Perian, based on that role. Other things that occur to you, the peacock is known to have magical feathers and magical components. In general, every part of a dragon is prized. But just looking through connections for these 3, you know that peacock feathers are used in magic rituals, so are dragon scales, but you haven't heard of a ritual that like a kingfisher would be used in with that history check.
Though I cannot quite glean his purpose in using it, I think the one that is most different between these 3 is the kingfisher, a symbol that Rory might find as comforting.
Which one is the kingfisher?
Oh, the birds.
There are 2 birds.
Sorry, the 3 birds that are in the middle, not the right one of the 2 birds that are on the 2 panels.
The one with the beak that's longer.
Yes, the 3 taking off, not the one that's got the eyes.
And the feathers and the...
That one is known as a peacock.
Why did it have to be animals?
Yeah, this place is not meant for you.
Yes, animals.
She'll turn to Plato and goes, perhaps we should try potentially setting off this middle one before we step on it. She'll reach into her bag and pull out some of the horseshoes that she apparently is still carrying around. And she goes, I could toss some of these on it.
Dun 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 dun. I forgot about those.
That is
Me too.
all time.
I was just looking at my inventory and I was like, 56 pounds? What the hell is in my bag?
That
Just
is
a bunch of horseshoes.
Yeah, because I remember thinking, like, why are we keeping all the horseshoes? And it's for this
For this exact purpose.
Do you do so?
She's gonna hold them in her hand, but she is looking up to Plato to see what he thinks before she does anything. This is his turf.
No, go for it. I think your bag of horseshoes is like maybe one of the most useful things to bring into a trap dungeon I could imagine.
Dump it.
All of them?
No, we need some for later. Dump like enough to be a
We
person,
do?
like 4. Oh yeah. Imagine just toss one down the hallway and see what happens. This could be great.
So yeah, she'll take out 4 out of the 28 that she has, and we'll toss them into the center of the middle panel, which is the one with the kingfishers on it.
Sounds good. As you toss them, you all hear a sound echo throughout the chamber, and coming from deeper within the cavern, as you hear as it sounds like some sort of large mechanical mechanism has kicked in, some sort of door opening or grate lifting further down the cave.
That sounds positive.
It is not arrows or whatever shooting out of these many divots, so I will agree, yes.
After a few seconds, you guys can hear the gate beginning to shut as it kind of rumbles in the distance, very slowly shutting.
And it appears as if this trap resets itself. My guess is its purpose is to seal behind us once we go past it. When we cross, it'll open the door on the other side. When we go through the door on the other side, it will close behind us as it just closed now. Oh, perhaps we should get something ready to try and wedge it open, as we know it will close behind us.
Wedge, yes.
Maybe a horseshoe or 10.
Is there any other items in this cave? Like, I don't know, dilapidated supplies or
Oh, it seems
mining
as if
picks? What do you keep down here?
someone magicked this hallway straight into the facilities here. There's nothing just lying around. Its purpose was to be trapped and awful.
Well, I've got nothing. Horseshoes sound good to me.
Okay, as you guys are discussing this, Inara is rifling through her bag, trying to see what else she has. She does find the jar of marvelous pigments that she still has. And goes, well, I mean, once we're through the gate, if we need to go back around, maybe I could paint us a door. So, I think we've secured our way back.
Yes. Anything else
For
in the
now,
wonderful
trapped here
bag?
forever.
Oh, we won't be trapped forever. It'll be fine. We'll just find that rock
You're
guy.
such an optimist.
Yes. When I'm surrounded by this much
Absolute
water
worst-case
and
scenario.
industry.
We can swim back if needed.
So we're walking on the Kingfisher panel.
And only the Kingfisher panel. Yes.
Yes, only the Kingfisher panel.
Yes, I'll grab some.
I know what a Kingfisher is now.
I'll grab the horseshoes on the way across so we are back up to our full 28. I'm insistent these will be useful.
Sounds good. Yeah, you all start crossing the central panel here, and as you do, again, hear that loud mechanism as the door begins to open. Do you all move pretty briskly to get at it before it begins closing?
Yeah, with the guarantee
Absolutely.
that, with knowing that we can try and make a door on the way back, I don't think we're too afraid to get through it.
Yeah, it requires just a little bit of hustle as you see it begin closing right as you all arrive. But the ramp is pretty directly downward as some of you begin to slide a little bit. And the gate itself is right at the bottom as you all slide right beneath it as it finishes closing right behind you. You continue sliding past the gate itself as you arrive, kind of with a little bit of a thump, in a large fishbowl like room. It is a cavern. There is a central console right in the dead center of the room. On it, it has 3 levers, all black wrought metal, that are all pushed forward. The room itself is perfectly smooth. Beneath your feet, you do feel sand rather than the previous rock that you're at. At the center of the console, on the floor near the console, is a bloated corpse of a young man, probably about 14, 15. He appears human at first glance, but you see he has long, elvish-like features, half-elf probably. His body is bloated. The smell of it hits you all kind of at once as you take it in.
Can you repeat what position the levers are in?
Yeah, all 3 of them have their black metal rods pushed forward towards the corpse. As you all arrive in this room, you hear the door close behind you further up this ramp. There does not, at first glance, appear to be any sort of egress to this room.
As we reach the landing, I guess, and the smell hits Inara's delicate sensibilities, she covers the lower half of her face with both hands, looking quite sympathetically at the young man's corpse. She turns to Plato and goes, "Do you think this was one of the guards?" Speaking behind her hands.
I don't think the gods recruit that young, much less send them in here, but perhaps I am wrong.
He appears to be wearing plain clothes. They're kind of soaked through, stuck to his body. But he isn't wearing guard apparel.
Can we see any obvious injuries? Like, is there any blood? You said he's wearing plain clothes. Is there any blood on his clothes or anywhere that looks like he's been injured?
Roll me a medical check.
Okay.
As you look over his body. And you're just trying to figure out the cause. You're not like going through his stuff, right?
No, I don't want to touch him yet.
Yeah. How far away from us is he?
He's at the base of these levers. The room itself is about a 15-foot radius from the levers itself.
I did roll a natural 20.
Yeah. I think, Plato, you've seen someone who's died of this before, and you're certain that he drowned. But as you look him over and note that he definitely drowned, you do see a couple of as you kind of like look through his upper arms and lower legs, what appear to be jellyfish stings, stings that look pretty nasty and paralyzing even. But he definitely drowned. He took in too much water in his lungs. There was no more oxygen, and he drowned here. And it was pretty recent, probably within a day or so.
The area around us, is it water? Like, is it like a walkway over or grate over water here?
The feeling of the cave is very damp where you're at, but there doesn't seem to be any immediate water
we're
sources.
Not like over, yeah, okay.
Are there any openings in the ceiling?
Yeah, any
roll me an investigation check.
Like you'd see in a sluice where there's like the drains water would come through.
11.
Yeah. As you look over the room, both directly front of you to the left and to the right, there do seem to be disruptions in the stone, like that look like they're almost like panels, like perfectly carved squares on either side.
Well, it would appear that messing with those levers could cause the room to fill with water. She turns like a 180, no, sorry, she turns in like a 360 circle, studying the room, and she goes, "But I don't see any clues as to what configuration would help us move on forward."
Well, seeing as there is no water here presently, and this deceased man is here by this console, then it would appear that they are all connected.
Yes, and currently we can all breathe water, so less worried about that.
Would Plato have shared with the rest of us what caused the stings?
Well, yes, Though it's clear he drowned, he points out the sort of marks on his body, he was also likely paralyzed by something. So breathing the water itself might not be enough if we cannot move.
I do not enjoy the idea of being paralyzed underwater, and she moves closer to Sherrilyn just out of instinct.
Well, we already know that this configuration is incorrect. The 3 levers all pulled down must have been what caused this man's unfortunate end.
Unless they reset to that position the way the gate does after we pass through it.
Plato?
Why are you looking at me? I do not know.
You're the mechanical man.
All right. Is there a ceiling in here? I'm guessing. Yes, no.
Yeah, it's like a dome.
Okay. But there's no other obvious signs of egress. I was trying to see if we had to fill it up enough that we could like swim out the top.
Well, he did say there were 2 panels on the left and the right, but I don't know if they let water in or if we swim out of them.
Well, depending on, if I may, depending on how thick the wall is, maybe we could feel the presence of water behind the wall, especially this one with a water arm.
It's not a dowsing rod. I don't know if it would be able to tell us behind which walls the most water is. The quicker method might just be to try one of these levers. I do want to investigate the console. If he was killed by drowning and not by like getting hit by a big rock that falls on whoever's at the console, I would like to respectfully step around this child and see if there's any indication on there of like what what to do, or if it says like waterway 1, waterway 2, any sort of labeling, anything like that.
I think as you look it over, you'd know where the labeling would be. It has been thoroughly scratched out.
Like filed off, like purposely.
Yeah, on all 3 of them, but definitely repurposed.
Inara's gonna go and take a closer look at the body. Does he have any pockets or a satchel or anything? She's primarily looking for something to identify him, to let people know who he was when we get back to the surface.
Excellent idea. Actually, I was also going to look at his hands. Are they dirty?
His hands look pretty clean. His nails a little chewed through. And Nara, you go through his pockets and find he has it looks like a small fish in his pocket.
Like a live fish? Or
it
a
feels
once
scaly.
live? Okay.
You pull it out.
Yeah.
You see it definitely has fish scales on both sides, but it looks sewn together on both sides in the middle. And after inspecting it a little bit, you realize it's a makeshift wallet, like a pocketbook made of fish scales kind of sewn together. Seems waterproof.
This is new, she says, and I guess pries it open.
Yeah. There are 5 gold pieces and 1 almost pearl-looking coin with a kingfisher carved into it, the symbol of a kingfisher carved into it. And as you look at it, you realize it's definitely carved into bone. The pearl opalescence to it. There's also a like fold over little notebook in here.
She will hold up the bone with the kingfisher symbol to Plato and be like, "Do you recognize this?" Hands it over to him and then flips through the notebook herself to see if she can gather any information from it.
Yeah, the handwriting is pretty messy and childlike as you take it in. It seems to mostly be locations and times as you go through it.
Are any of those locations familiar to her, or are they all unknown places in Netter's Rally?
You see it's like Harrow's span, 4 o'clock, lift right. They all seem to be locations here, but they're all one after another. Roll me an investigation check as you look it over.
14.
Yeah. You look it over and you put it together. The times all seem to be like during the daytime. And you Do you show it to Plato?
Yeah, I guess after she studies it for a minute, she realizes she doesn't recognize a lot of these places, so she will call to Plato, holding it up, and goes, "Does this make any sense to you? I don't recognize a lot of these locations."
Yeah, and I think you working together with Plato knowing more about these locations, it is like a drop list or a courier. It seems to be messages or some sort of deliveries between people within the city. It seems to be a record of that going back a couple days. Um, then there's a personal note towards the back of it. This whole thing seems pretty new, and it says finally invited to inner circle with like a big heart around it. And then the page behind that has two notes. The first one is a math equation. It's written on the left page. It's a very, very simple math equation. As you take it in, it is the digits 23 plus 12. It is unsolved. And then on the right side of the page, he literally has the word password written, and then a colon, and then 3 underscores, and then the word Zen, Zen.
Seeing the passcode, and then after discussing it with Plato, I'm assuming now we recognize the locations as drop-off or pickups. Inara will look up at Plato and goes, "Perhaps he wasn't associated with the guards, but with whoever caused the lift issue and built this diabolical place." Still breaks my heart to see one so young.
Yes, it is unfortunate. We did this with Nimbus also. Children sometimes can get around undetected. It looks like he was trying to graduate into being a main member of the Kingfishers, though. These passcodes, I wonder if he got one wrong or if he was fed the wrong information. 2, 3 plus 1, 2. All digits under 4.
I'm still trying to ascertain if or if I can ascertain which of the levers that he intentionally pulled, to see if we can find the answer to the question, do the levers reset into this position when the traps go off? So if there's no visible abnormality of his hands, and she would check both.
They're definitely pruned, soaked through. Yeah, because he's bloated.
Being underwater.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, they could have been.
There's no indicator on the levers. There's nothing in the room like physics wise that would be able to point that out to you, unfortunately, or at least non magically. Though I can't think of a spell that could do it right now. I guess Speak with Dead, that would do it. That would tell you which one you grab. I'm like, what D&D spell would solve this problem?
The only related
one none of us
I
have.
Think, yeah, I mean, 23 plus 12 is 35, but 2, 3 plus 1, 2 could also mean second level or third level, first level or second level again.
Oh.
That's the only other numbers that I have. That's the only thing I can see that has any. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But there's 3. The password is 3 blank spaces before Zen, as if to indicate it's a full word. Can anyone think of any words that end with
3 spaces? Not denizen.
Because if these was the passwords given to him by the Kingfishers to join the inner circle, and then this was where he was not able to get forward, maybe they are for that purpose.
Then it would be something relevant to them. But you said you were not familiar with them.
No, though I'm familiar with their goals: anti-royalists, the downfall of the royal blood, anti-monarchs.
Perhaps it has something to do with that.
Risen, Z, not S. Paisan, no.
Frozen?
Frozen. Now this would work. And has something to do with water. These are both good.
Doesn't help us with the levers, though.
Doesn't help us with the letters unless we have to freeze them.
Oh gosh.
Could freeze the jellyfish.
Can you freeze a jellyfish?
I freeze it? I don't know. Probably not. I could maybe stop the jellyfish in time, which is sort of different.
Hmm.
If he was
Paralyze the
frozen, he wouldn't have
paralyzers.
crooned.
True.
No, but I think frozen is a good guess for what this word could be. Now the 2312 unsolved, simple but unsolved. So I think maybe not a math equation. I mean, if we want to start trying with the levers, I would say maybe start with the second one to see if that's this. I don't have any other leads. There was nothing else in his pockets. The panels on the walls are here. I have been practicing my mage hand. I can try and use that if we need it.
Yeah, I guess the second lever is as good as any to start at.
Wait,
But
maybe
what
it's
do the numbers mean?
well, maybe it's 2 and 3 at the same time, and then 1 and 2 at the same time.
So what should we start?
I'm just going
What
off
should we
of
try
what's,
first?
I don't know. I'm just going off of what's in the room. I mean, as the drowning is not too big of an issue because of the water breathing.
Perhaps.
And the numbers don't correspond with any of the earlier locations, right? I mean, well, that would be tough for...
If you tell me how you figured that out at a glance, I can answer
right.
yes or no. Yeah,
like the locations aren't numbered or anything, I guess, or like dated, so...
No. Just location, time, and then another location connected to it.
Unless they're
By
coordinates
two.
on a map, but I doubt it.
I mean, he doesn't have a map, but the other thing is he seems to have gotten it wrong, so we've reached the point where we might just have to try one of the levers.
I do like the idea of 2 and 3 first, and then 1 and 2.
Yes, I mean, it doesn't say verbatim, it doesn't say an equal sign after the numeric equation, does it?
It does not.
It's just 23 plus 12.
And those numbers being under 4 is the only thing I can find that relates to this console. But like I said, he
There
got it
are 3
wrong,
levers,
so
yeah.
I'm not even sure.
The left and right pages is the handwriting the same?
Yeah, it's all pretty childish. It's easy to tell the numbers are the same as you match up different times to the ones in the equation, and match the letters in the back to one as well.
Again, we are trusting the judgment of a child for this.
Well, the kingfishers, I believe, would have told the child the truth. It's obvious that he was doing some sort of vital job for them.
The kingfishers are citizens of Perian, yes?
They are citizens of Nettos Rally specifically, but yes, they are.
Just musing as this is a child and they are prone to mistakes.
I mean, obviously he was not prepared for something. Perhaps, though, just not a strong enough swimmer. The water might have to reach a specific level for us to go in and out of one of these panels, maybe. But if it reaches a different level, the jellyfish are released.
Enter. Well, I guess Inara will straighten up and place a hand on each the second and third levers, and then look up to Plato and goes, "Should we just give it a shot?"
Let her rip. Get excited to breathe water.
Ugh. And she pushes the second and third levers backwards because all 3 of them were in forward position.
As you do, you find your left hand on the second, your right hand on the third. As you begin to move them forward, you're met with resistance from both of them, but much greater resistance from the one on the right, as you're not able to move it at all. But as you slide the second lever, the one in the center, it is able to move. Do you keep moving to flip it?
Yeah.
It takes quite a bit of strength to do it, but you're able to do so. The third one, again, not budging as you move the second one forward.
As the third one won't budge, Inara will release it and use both hands to push the second one, conveying to the others just how hard this is.
Absolutely. You see as mechanisms pop both panels on the left and right out of the wall and slowly lift them as water begins to flood in very slowly on both left and right side of the walls here.
Just water?
Just water. It seems to kind of leak through, beginning to puddle at your feet as the second lever is now pulled pushed forward.
Realizing that you've hit on a fear of mine, I never knew how much I hated jellyfish. Me, Nada. Until you brought this up and I was like, the idea of being in a room of jellyfish. No, no, no.
Do you want me to try and stop the water?
Well, we don't know that the water is necessarily a hindrance right now. It might be what we need to get to the exit of this chamber of horrors. So once the second one is pushed all the way, she's gonna move on to the third and give it another shot. Is it still immovable?
As you try to move it again, it's much more movable than you found it a moment ago. As whatever pressure seems to be almost pushing against you or fighting you as you push it seems much reduced, but it's still taking quite a bit of strength from you to push it.
So yeah, Inara starts pushing it forward. She's grunting and she goes, I am not the best person for this. But pushes it all the way backwards.
Yeah, as you do so, both those panels begin opening much further, and water begins pouring much quicker. But the front panel seems to move itself forward, and you watch as all three of the levers spring themselves back into position again, the same position they were when you came in the room.
Does the water stop when they spring back?
It is flooding much faster.
Faster?
Well,
She'll turn to Plato. She's like, I think that was wrong.
I don't know. That might be the addition sign.
So now we should do the first and second.
I don't know. No jellyfish have entered yet.
Yeah, fair point. And she'll move to the first lever. She'll try pushing it with one hand. Well, no, with both hands. Does it move?
It does, pretty easily, as the left panel raises itself and water just begins torrenting in from the left. You see some forms, pink ones.
No. Yeah, as soon as she
the water's flooding. It's up to your guys' knees now.
As soon as she sees the first pink form, I think Inara's going to attempt to climb the panel.
You do so.
She's crouched on the panel now, watching for any jellyfish, and hurriedly pushes the second lever. We've already started. We might as well see this through.
As you move to push the second lever, it is fighting you back hard. It's going to take some strength. Will you give me a strength check?
I will run up and help her do it as soon as I see the jellyfish.
Hell yeah, do so with advantage as you both maneuver this lever. Sherrilyn, you see a couple plop, hearing the splashes as different beings kind of plop into this water.
It was a 15 on both rolls, and I got a +0, so 15.
A 15 is just enough.
Oh, thank God.
Inara, that was the DC. As you, with all of your strength, move this second lever back into the previous position. And as you do so, with great force, the way in front of you opens and both of the sides seal themselves as the water flow shuts and the water in front of you begins to ramp down, kind of dispersing itself as it begins to drain.
Oh, thank all the gods. She's still keeping a very wary eye out for any straggling jellyfish on the ground. She won't get off the panel.
You see, they're around the room on the sand here, kind of flapping about. You also see a piranha and a full swordfish, just flopping about that just kind of fall onto the sand at the end of the way here as the doors seal them shut.
Plato freezes and takes the swordfish.
What are you gonna do with that?
Maybe we need something frozen for a password, and if not, I'll give it to Rourke as a thank you. This is good eating.
Also, it's huge. Where are you putting it? In one of your pockets?
Pretty big. Yep. Yeah, he's already tried.
He's trying to squeeze a swordfish into a pocket?
That is a good point. Could I use your bag?
She'll hold open the bag as wide as it goes, but she's also holding it as far from her body as she can. Yeah, just drop it in there. She's keeping her face away from it because it's still wiggling.
Perfect. Maybe we can use this to pick a lock later. Just put it the rest of the way in there, and we have to go now also. We have to go now also, before anyone gets... Come on.
She quickly jumps off the panel, is following very close behind you, and then she'll quickly whisper, just remember what happened when we forgot the eggs in the bag. Can't forget the fish in there too. And we leave the death trap. This was the worst trap ever.
Yes. I think we did a good job. I think we've done a good job on both traps so far.
She does take the notebook with her.
Sounds good. Do you take the 5 gold coins and the bone token?
The bone token she gave to Plato. The 5 gold coins token. She is leaving. Yeah, she's leaving the money in his wallet because she doesn't feel right about robbing a dead child.
Yeah, the dead child, leaving the dead child body does not sit well with me, but maybe we can get it taken out of here once we've sort of cleared the area.
Yes, maybe on our way back, or we could send someone for him.
Use that marvelous pigments to paint a child coffin.
Oh, heartbreaking.
Awful.
But yeah, we move on through the open pathway, I guess.
Hell yeah. You continue forth. It continues to be sand for quite a bit as you watch the water spread forth. It curves down, and then kind of slowly begins up into a stone staircase, actually. Again, this perfect worked single-piece stone staircase that continues forth to these large doors. So where we find ourselves at present is walking through the underground, almost labyrinthine structure of this well-protected, what seems to be sort of lair as you guys have moved through. You all followed a narrow passageway for quite a while until you found a well-made set of stairs connected to a pretty plain-looking door built into a cave face.
Do we think this door is also cursed?
To close behind us or to trap us?
Or something else?
Inara looks around and behind us at what we've gone through so far. She goes, I think every part of this place is cursed, one way or another.
Yes, it is occurring to me as we move forward that that boy, the messenger, and the kingfishers we walked upon, we might be wandering somewhere, particularly kingfishery, which, has its own dangers, definitely. And I would say that maybe, once again, don't tell anyone my name, they'll recognize me on sight, but if they try to kill me, please stop them.
Well, bearing Aoife's warning about not touching the door in her tower unnecessarily, I think I shall detect magic on this very average-looking door in this very not average place.
Be my guest. Ho ho ho.
Okay, this spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead. Okay, this door is made of wood, or 3 feet of wood. How thick are most doors?
Not
thick
3 feet.
is common door?
Chode door.
That would be
Today,
one hell of a door.
Okay,
today
yeah,
I'm selling you Chode door. It's so thick.
This door, you cannot detect magic through it. But it looks like the average door, so it's perfect for anyone's home.
If you want to open your house, you got to pop it out like a cork. Chode door.
All right. Yes, as your detect magic pulses through you, does this look like anything in particular?
She holds out her hand. She's not touching the door. Thankfully, detect magic does not require me to make contact with the door in order for me to detect if there is magic upon it. So instead, she holds out her hand. She's about a foot away from the door, and there's this pulse through the air and this sort of like a whispery sound that comes with all of the magic that she casts as it reverberates over the object that she is casting upon.
The door itself is completely non-magical. It does not pulsate. But you do pick up a couple of different presences within your 30 feet or as it radiates throughout the door. You get 4 pings, one right on the left side, like right as you pass the door to the left, You feel an aura coming your way. You sense it.
As in, it's approaching the door?
No, it seems as you take a second to feel these auras, they seem like they're in the one position, one to the left of the door, one to the right, and then about 10 feet down at the edge of your divine sense here, where you're currently standing. There's another one right on the left, one on the right.
So they are guarding the door. In that case, I'm going to knock on it unceremoniously.
Response.
What are you doing?
I know you are in there. Please open the door. We would like
Who
to
are
leave
you?
these jellyfish behind.
Who are you talking to?
There are individuals on the other side of this door.
Shit.
You can see them?
I can sense them.
Plato hides up against the side of the doorway so that if it opens, he's not immediately visible.
For Watcher's sake, she knocks again. Open this door, if you please.
Inara leans forward towards Sherrilyn's ear and goes, considering how many traps they've set, I don't think they're just gonna let us in.
Well, I am trying to avoid a second occasion since I have entered Netter's Rally where I have to threaten to breach someone's door.
You may have to do that this time, but it is acceptable in this situation.
Yes,
I have your permission.
I am a bit curious as to why the last two doors we walked through were like fair game, but this closed one is I mean, like, just because you're sure the people?
I sense something magical.
I will say, Sherrilyn, as you have your detect magic maintained and waiting for a response, there hasn't been a hint of movement to any of the auras that you picked up.
They are unmoving. I suppose it could be a trap. A magical
Statue?
trap. Sure.
Where do you feel it?
She holds out her hands on either side, stretching her arms out to either side of the door. Sort of looks like she's going to embrace the door. The door is made of wood. Is it dry?
Yes.
Is there any space under the door? Like a crack underneath the door?
There's a crack underneath the door for sure. And second, I will say everything in here is a little bit damp, but it's as dry as a little bit of damp can be.
Well, I have been carrying this torch this whole time, and the torch did not work at Rourke's house, but it might work in this occasion.
There is a door handle also. Just throwing that out there as we're looking over the door, you're like, oh, look, there's also this handle.
Yes, but Lady Inara did say I wasn't sure if it was a person, and it could be a trap.
Does the door open in or out? Sorry to keep asking you about it.
In.
So towards the room?
Yeah.
I think we can probably open it then, because if any trap happens, it's just going to hit the door. We just don't walk in with the door, right? We just sort of push the door open?
So I have permission to breach, but not to set fire to the door.
Would rather you not set fire to the door, but
now when
breach
we're
away.
in here, no. How
Breach
about
away.
this? I could breach and you could prepare your weapon in case something were to come at us from the other side of the door.
Now that is a fine idea. Please go ahead.
Inara will put both hands on the door handle, already expecting to struggle. And she'll try to push it inwards.
It opens without issue.
That was easier than expected.
There is a large room laid out in front of you. Weirdly narrow for how much stuff is in here. Anyone who's been to a museum or learning space, this immediately feels familiar, as this is very much a museum exhibit. As you look down, there are these large glass display cases set into these wooden pedestals, every 5 feet or so against the right and left wall. It leaves barely enough room for two people walking shoulder by shoulder to walk through the center space here to the end of this other sort of long hallway. In these display cases, going down the wall, there are these beautifully created white substance, maybe wax. There's a slight smell of ambergris throughout the room. Each one of these display cases is filled with one of these figures, meticulously down to the last detail. Their body are all sat upright as if on a throne, but each of their heads are in their lap, being held by their hands. Plato, you recognize each and every one of these figures as soon as your eyes glance over them. A lot of them being your family. The second one on the right being yourself. As you see your own face in your lap, each wrinkle, each stress line, each brow line almost perfectly captured. Each of these statues or wax figures also have a spear going through the head. The spear is handled by a metal portrait, a metal statue, headless, wearing the armor of Plato. You recognize this right away. The armor of the rebelling forces that helped the North in the coup. The armor of the men and women of Netter's rally who joined the fight. Each of them hold the spear through the head of the wax figure, one per each display case. As you're walking up and down Plato, you see Nori, you see Adelaide, Voltaic, you see Adela Ord, you see Mars Orede, Oleg Orede, you see your father Roland, you see Rainier. They captured his chair instead of a throne. You see his complex chair down to detail. All of these figures are aged to now, and each of them have a spear ran through their head. The final one on the left is your mother. It's been a while since you've seen her, I believe, in person, at least a few weeks, if not longer. Her hair is a little bit longer than the last time you've seen her. And on the back wall of this chamber, there is written in red, unmistakably blood, large. What was the coup to people like me and you? There stands a single frame wooden door underneath, and you see a series of padlocks that are keeping this door in place as you all explore this space. I think it takes you a little bit to recognize these figures, Sherrilyn and Inara, but you start to see folks that you know from the meeting. You see Adelaide on the first left here. It takes a second or two, but it kicks in that is a depiction of her. You see Plato along the right wall here. These are the heads of this country.
Sherrilyn, as the door is opening, reaches down into her boot and pulls out the ethereal weapon, which had been disguised as the stiletto dagger, and it transforms in her hand into the form of a halberd. As she comes in after Plato, she approaches the statue of Nori first, sort of bending down close to look at it in the eye. Very pretty, much like the real thing.
Plato has just walked over to his own statue and is staring at his, you said his decapitated head, right?
It is in your lap. All of the heads are positioned with your hand holding. You see your own hands. They are both made of meat. They got that detail wrong as it holds your head in your own lap.
With my detect magic still running, do I get more pings from all of the statues?
It is actually the figures that each hold the spear inside of the wax head that resonate with magic, each of them resonating with transmutation and creation magics.
So it is the spear itself, not the statuette.
The ones holding the spear, the headless metal armor that wears the armor of the freed slaves of the South.
I have a hunch that these may spring to life.
The metal ones.
Yes.
Inara will hold out one finger, and she's going to poke one to see if that is going to happen or not. Just very gingerly, right in the middle of the chest, she's going to ping.
Constructs are not uncommon in Medea. We use them for our work.
Does it react to being touched?
It does not. In fact, it kind of falls over a little bit.
Oops.
What about the padlocks on the door? Are they magical?
They are. They're kind of out of your range a little bit as this hallway extends past 30 feet, but as you walk towards that side of the room, they are definitely magical.
You still believe this is the work of the Kingfishers, Plato?
Yes, even more specifically. Though I didn't know they were creating effigies of decapitated versions of my family.
Yeah, they really don't like you guys, huh?
Your father's stare as intense as I remember.
Yeah, he's looking at his mom, who you all wouldn't recognize, and I don't think you'd recognize the Aredes, who are both dwarves, or Adela Ord, and she might kind of look like her sons, who you know, but that's the Ord's mother. Yeah, he moves down to stare at the one of his mom, and like he's beginning to feel kind of angry. He wants these things gone. He would never call anyone, you know, the one thought he always keeps from his head is any thought of anyone being ungrateful, because he knows like what he did was righting a wrong. It wasn't providing anyone with anything, right?
They have a grudge against every single one of these individuals whom are beheaded.
I mean, I wouldn't say they like them, considering the positions they've sat them in.
I don't see any Xenophs in this room.
So yeah, Inara leans over to Sherrilyn. Who are the Xenophs? Is that woman one of them?
I feel he is about to tell us.
But you've never heard of the Xenophs? I sort of thought that their reputation had preceded our borders, especially in the north.
Closed country?
Don't care enough?
Thank you, Inara. You always allow me to keep perspective.
That sounded like something I would say.
The Xenophs were the slave masters of Stromhopt.
And this is significant in this case because...
Well, I think a lot of the people here are considered in one way or another connected with the previous slavery. And so to think that the worst of the worst is not represented here seems strange.
So someone has their understanding of history backwards. This is familiar to me.
These are the leaders of the coup.
Well, maybe... Oh. Could it be the
Acrotis is
Xenophs
not
created
here.
this place?
That would be something.
Are there any left?
No. All of the Xenophs died. But, damn. Aoife, she mentioned that Rory claimed to be a bastard. A Xenoph bastard running the Kingfishers. Now that would be something.
Or did she mean bastard as in that bastard?
No, bastardry is common among the houses of Perian.
I'm familiar
Yeah.
what bastardry is.
Well, we share that in common at least. I do not know. All the Xenophs that I know have been punished for their crimes. Their land was revoked. Their power and access denied. Their statues and history stricken from all record to deny their legacy.
Well, then, let us analyze what we do know. And she would approach the door with all of the padlocks on it. How many padlocks are there?
There are 5 padlocks. There is 1 on the left side of the door and 4 on the right side of the door.
And how many statues?
10. I will also say, again, written in blood, huge.
What was the coup to me and you?
What was the coup to people like me and you?
People like me and you.
I will also say, the padlocks, as you inspect them, Sherrilyn, they're magic radiating from them. Instead of numbers, they have letters. Right now, the padlocks are set to, on the left, the letter A, and then on the right, those 4 are set to NNAN.
5
The 4 on the right, you said NNAN. All of them are N's for nada?
ANNAN.
Okay.
So in total, it's A space NNAN.
So this puzzle may be dealing with letters. I knew I was on the right track.
A lot of security.
Inara's going to look up at the message on top and then go, well, I don't think they mean us by people like me and you.
Yes, I'm afraid the insight we will get to solve this puzzle will come from Mr. Ardavian.
I'm sure they don't mean me very explicitly. I gesture to my own headless body.
Well, she's going to look at you and goes, well, what was the coup for you? A liberation? Atonement?
I was not a slave, so it was not a liberation for me. We were fixing what had been done by our families. An atonement, yes. A correction. A mending.
How fresh is the blood?
It's dried.
Is it
pretty
stone blood
heavily.
again?
No, it's just regular blood. For as far as you could tell, I don't know what regular blood means. It's just red blood.
Well, because earlier in the cave there was
I
the
know. The
trap.
crystal,
Yeah.
But in comparison to that, you know
Just
what I mean?
normal old blood, yeah.
Normal blood, no
Rock-
granite included.
Rock blood implies the existence of normal blood.
Yeah.
Oops.
The spears that are in the heads of the statues, do they have any etchings on them?
No, they are very simple. In fact, like looking over it, they're very very simple made weapons, like barely even sharp. Almost like farmers' tools as you look them over. Like one of them is just a rake handle with a spear tip attached. They're pretty simply made.
Freeman's weapons. It was not possible to outfit everyone. We have no significant forges that can militarize an entire civilian population. The locks, though, 1 on to the left, 4 on the right. Perhaps it is 2 words then. A something.
Well, if the clue was a sort of atonement for people like you,
Oh, no,
Plato,
for people like me, an atonement. For people like them,
a betrayal?
do not know. I wish I had spoken to more kingfishers.
Well, it is a word with only 4 letters.
Are all the letters can be changed? I'm guessing, kind of like a normal lock.
Do you look them over?
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at it. Each of them they're very very long like digit combinations. As you look them over, you don't touch them. You just kind of look at the engravings, and it's like a dial that you can turn. The first one appears to have A through M. The second one has N through Z on the right side. Same. So it's A through M, N through Z, N through Z, A through M, N through Z.
When you say A through M, M for mom?
Yep. Has the first half of the alphabet.
A through M, N through Z, A through M.
So all the ones
Okay.
currently set to N are N through Z, and all the ones currently set to A are A through M. Okay, so this is like reset. This resets when you complete it back to the extreme parts of the lock.
So then we can't know for certain that the lock on the left is supposed to be an A.
No, but there's not many other single articles. It could be an I suppose. But that does not seem implicated by the question, which implies a group and not a singular.
Inara's going to take another walk around the room, studying the statues more closely, especially the ones that she doesn't recognize, because I'm assuming the only ones that she'd recognize are the people that she just met in the meeting and Plato.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me like an insight check as you inspect them.
Insight. +0. Great. 7 on the die.
They're beautifully made. They're definitely well crafted. Time went into making each of these. Even the you can tell like the parts where the head is impaled. It was very delicately designed as to not mess up any of it. As you look with the 7, the hole itself was pre-carved. It wasn't like jammed through. Like the whole mechanism was created to preserve what it looked like.
Okay.
Mr.
No
Ardavian.
etchings.
Mr. Ardavian, are there any other statues in here besides yours that appear incorrect in some way? I happened to notice that yours did not bear your arm of water.
For how current they look, I am not sure. I have not seen the Aredate siblings for quite some while, and I look at my mom. So it's like her hair was shorter last time I saw her.
A very good look at Nori. Does Nori's statue appear any different?
You look over the Nori statue. It does not appear any different. However, it is definitely like, and she's a very attractive, powerful woman. It is her best angle. Like this statue really captures her power, her grace, her ability to own a room. Like each detail is captured in like the crook of her nose, her chin posture, where she holds her head. Even in the lap, it's kind of like pushed up a little bit by her hands. It very much captures her poise.
In that case, what about Adelaide?
She has a shit-eating grin on the head on her lap, more so than even one you saw in the meeting. Kind of like eats up her whole face. with this grin. But no, nothing severely different at all.
Well, then, to Sherrilyn, these appear true to character, so she's going to go to the Plato statue and she's going to run her hands along that arm, which should be water and is not.
Yeah, as your hand touches it,
Oh my.
it kind of collapses a little bit, like to the touch. Like these things are much more fragile than you're expecting, as it seems to be made of some sort of wax or like mud mixture, and it isn't completely solid, as it kind of collapses a bit to your touch. But it is just this like wax kind of gooey mixture, but nothing else happens.
I do not know what we would spell. I mean, you said it's Adelaide, Plato, Roland, Nori, Oleg, Rayella, Adela.
Alexander.
Just making sure it wasn't a first letter of names thing. I'm still trying to figure out what the mechanism is that. I feel like there's a mechanism between the padlocks and the statues here because of the magic, but I am unsure as of yet what that mechanism might be.
Well, there has to be something in this room that would give us a clue,
I mean, not
other than your
necessarily.
insight.
People have just used this room to pass through, right? It's not like we are trying to prove our cunning in here. We're just trying to gain access to a secret place.
And then it was a trap specifically meant for you.
Well, honestly, if it was me here now, if I could, I would melt these statues. Well, though I guess the work is a little too fine to do that. 5 of them. 5 of 10.
Plato, roll me an insight check as you think that.
Let me double check that I don't add anything to that. No, 13.
Again, as you look them back over, it does strike you how well made these are. Like they are really well made statues. Like love went into these as you take it over again.
But when Plato says this, she's going to tip the torch that she's been carrying towards his statue.
It immediately engulfs. Whatever material this is incredibly flammable. As all of it picks up,
Plato
it burns
steps
from the
back.
outside.
Steps back and gives a little yell. Whoa!
It's not, again, this room is, the smoke that comes off of this is acrid, and that smell of ambergris is much more palpable as the entire thing just catches flame. It begins kind of filling the room with this musky, dark gray smoke.
Inara holds both hands to her face and looks at Sherrilyn. Please don't do that again.
Smells
Is there
like
anything in the melted wax?
No, and it's all the way through. This thing's going to be burning for a while.
Well, it was a good theory.
I mean, or you picked a wrong one of the 5.
So
you would like... She tips the torch towards Alexander's statue, so you would like
No. I can't... We are not in a very well ventilated space. Please don't do that. Actually, Plato, could you put that one out?
I only get so many create waters.
Does this look like it's going to be burning for a while? This is just
it's
a
getting hard to see in
human-sized
here
chunk.
too, as the top fills with layers, fills with some smoke.
Fine. Create water.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check to try and like get the water in the right places to douse this. This is like a fire being fed by an accelerant. Do you know what I mean? Like water, just one splash of water might not be able to put this out.
Could I argue Arcana and say it's a spell crafting thing,
Yeah,
or does it have
Arcana
to be
totally works.
Okay, cool.
No, I dig Arcana for this. In fact, as you guys see this take fire, you're wondering, is the intention of these things to be set on fire? Like it is responding too well to the fire almost. Well, it seems like a feature, not a bug, as the entire thing catches flame. You watch, the flame has kind of spread out pretty evenly across the skin now, and you still see Plato's like kind of melting face, and as the fingers around them melt as well. They kind of begin blending it together. The fingers melting into the structure of the face.
It's only a 7 + 2, so a 9.
Yeah. Water falls around it, and you see that part that was melting away. The face of Plato, a little bit melted now. His fingers inset. All of that goes. The fire on that gets put out, but the structure of the body itself and the back of Plato is still very much burning and filling with smoke. But the amount of smoke has definitely been delayed.
Sherrilyn covers her nose and her mouth with her elbow, and says with a muffled voice, Well, this doesn't seem to be burning like any candle that I've ever lit.
Did you think this room was just filled with human-sized, human-shaped candles to light your way?
Well, no, but I didn't expect it to be a fire trap either, did you?
Considering we just came from a water trap? Not that far from my mind, no.
That's fair enough.
The coup to me and you, a fire? A ruse? A trap?
None of those work with the letters setting.
I think they do. N would have T. N to Z would have T. N to Z would have R. A to N would have A. Trap, T-R-A-P.
Oh. Yeah. N through Z, A through M. Yeah, we can try trap.
That's one that would work. Ruse wouldn't work. S wouldn't be able to fit.
And if we get it wrong?
I don't know, maybe more of these burst into flames. Which would not be the worst thing aesthetically. Though
Sherrilyn,
bad for the lungs.
There's no magic coming off of the wax statues. However, there's magic pouring from these armored figurines with the spears.
Yes, I will remind you that these gentle people in shining armor are still emanating magic right now.
All right, I'll investigate the statue that was stabbing through Plato. That is still stabbing through Plato's half-melted head.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me an Arcana check as you investigate it.
That's a 15 plus 2.
Yeah, you've definitely seen stuff like this before. The ability to imbue armor to come to life and defend a position is pretty base level magic for those in the transmutation and creation schools.
Oh, living armor.
Called it.
Well, I can try the word a trap while you brace in front of the magical armor in case it comes to life.
I'm not gonna stand in front of the magical armor, but do please try a trap.
Oh, I was talking to Sherrilyn, but I mean,
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry, I had my back turned to you because I was investigating. I turn over, I look over my shoulder like, oh, yes, of course. Why would I? That's silly. And I go back over towards Inara.
Since this does seem like a trap meant for you, Mr. Ardavian, you might stand behind me and let the ladies do the work.
I'll stand behind Inara.
That's fine. Yes, we should get this done before any more smoke fills the room, and she'll start turning the dials on the different locks to spell out the word trap.
Yeah, walk me through. Like, physically walk me through what your fingers do here.
I guess she'd hold the lock with her...
Which lock?
The first one on the right.
Okay.
The right has the 4, right? Yeah, so she's going to leave the one on the left set to the letter A, and then grab the topmost lock on the right, and with her right hand start turning the dial from N to T. Once she has set it to the letter T, she's going to let go of it and take a quick look around and see if anything shifted with that.
You see the two figures. Well, you hear a click, for sure, on the lock itself. And you see two figures at the far end of the room, just very slowly withdraw their spears. But nothing else happens.
Well, the click is promising. The drawing of weapons is not, and so that incentivizes her to try to do the rest really quickly. So she'll grab the second one quickly.
Interesting impulse.
Same
Be
motion.
positive.
She's like, maybe I can turn these to the correct word before the ones on the far side of the room make it to us. So she's going to turn it from N to R. Is there another click?
There is,
Awesome.
And then another set of those two guards take their spears out and turn.
I don't like this. She'll leave the third one set to A as is and move on to the last lock, which was set to the letter N, so it's just the one turn. So she's gonna hold it in position, keep her eye on the statues as she turns it one click to the letter P. Or 2 clicks to the letter P.
There is a loud noise. It sounds like rocks moving, kind of like running against each other.
From where?
from behind you, uh, as you see the door that holds the padlocks begins to entirely lift from the ground up, and as you watch all of the armored beings that have their spears drawn kneel and turn towards the door, holding their spears high as the way before you opens.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, goodness, fuck. We are good at solving puzzles together, Inara.
I mean, I just used the word that you suggested, but sure, yes, I'll take the compliment.
It's a part of it.
She'll turn around, and as soon as the door lifts high enough to be like above her head, she'll stick her head through the doorway and take a quick look left and right. Are there any signs of life in here?
Yeah. So the doorway opens, the space before it is cavernous, and a little wet. There's water on the ground, like a steady, slight stream of it.
What else
Also,
is
there are these beautiful blue crystals that seem to fill this entire space. It is bright in here, and it is only the blue crystals that is emanating this light. As you begin to listen in, roll me a perception check as you kind of stick your head out into the space.
Ooh, unnatural 20.
Oh, hell yeah. So as you listen in, there's definitely a large, the path splits left and right. And there's definitely a large chamber because you can hear a sound echoing in the distance here. Have you guys ever been to Chuck E. Cheese?
Unfortunately.
Yes.
That's what the voice is saying? That's crazy.
Millennials.
Do you know the sound when you like feed the tickets in to the machine and it pretends to be eating?
Okay.
Yeah, that sound is echoing throughout this chamber here. Every now and then, with the sound of just bone cracking, louder as it kind of echoes as you listen in. There is the sound of water running, and the sound of this loud chewing that seems to be echoing throughout the space.
Dare I ask, what is Mr. Ardavian?
Well, I was worried about the crystals. Glowing crystals in the underground of Perian is never very good, exactly. I would not get too close to them. But also, I think that is the sound of a wet Perian bone cracker.
A what?
What is a wet Perian bone cracker?
Exactly what it sounds like.
Like a creature.
But I mean, I think it's. I've only just heard hearings of it, but I don't like how it sounds.
I'm going to douse the torch in the very shallow bit of water that is on the floor.
Easily done.
Oh, you burnt me! No, I'm kidding. I'm not the...
Oh my god, imagine if she starts using your water arm just to put out flames.
It's like putting out cigarettes in my water arm.
Basically.
It is just a precaution in case the crystals are also flammable.
I think flammable is the least of our worries at this point, she says as she listens to the crunching, which sounds like it's coming from a very big set of jaws to her.
Well, I'm not afraid of this creature, so halberd in hand, I will continue down.
Loving that Sherrilyn's taking the lead. Inara's gonna follow, and then she'll turn back to look at Plato, but she's still walking. You said the crystals were a bad omen. Is it just because they come along with the wet Perian bone crusher, or are they dangerous in and of themselves?
No. So it is good. A good thing to understand about Perian is that the very land here is often quite hostile to us. The elements and magical forces that run through it inherently poison it and make it, dangerous to any living thing. So if you see big magical crystals underground, one would do best to avoid them.
However, that is not in my nature, she responds.
I look over, she's fucking 2 inches from a crystal.
She's trying really hard to hold back from grabbing one of them and pulling it off the wall.
Sherrilyn, do you continue walking forward across this blue crystalline cave?
Yes, it did actually occur to me that I'm not wearing my full set of armor, and really my only protection is a shield, so I think instead of a halberd, I'm going to just go back to the trusty longsword and shield, sword and board combo.
Hell yeah. As you guys enter this space, it is a massive cavern filled with furniture. There are tables throughout the whole space as you begin walking in. You can hear the sound very loudly coming from your right here. It is a comfortable looking space filled with chairs, tables, rugs, carpets. It's a lived in sort of den. It's definitely like a hideout of some type or some sort. As you walk further and further, the smell of death hits your nose like a hammer. Sherrilyn, are you headed around the rock south here, or are you taking this turn?
I'd be following the sound of the crunching, most directly, with caution. We're not rushing down this hallway.
Yeah, are you doing it stealthily?
You know what? Yes, because I'm not wearing that armor, so I actually stand a chance, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Is everyone following Sherrilyn here?
Yes, I will stay at the back of the group and try and be very stealthy as we move through the shadows here.
Hell yeah. Everyone give me a stealth check.
I make 0 guarantees of my performance here. Whoops.
Is it dark enough that I never know how Skulker works. That just lets us hide, right?
Yeah, you can hide in dim light. It's dim light, yeah.
Well, the dice flung out of my hand and rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Inara gets a 17. 12 plus
Just
5.
a 10 for ya boy. Which was a 6
Hell yeah.
on the dice.
So, Sherrilyn, you lead. You're headed this way here, headed through this kind of tight space cavern, blue crystal all around you. As you turn the corner, there is a crate right up against the wall. And as you turn the corner, you sense a presence on top of the crate. And then as you turn to it, it is a corpse leaning against the wall, standing in kind of a watching position, sitting in sort of a watching position against the cavern entrance. This corpse, as you look it over, it is a young man. He wears kind of simple armor. It looks like all of the liquid in his body has been drained from him. His skin is completely fragile. Like he's so dry. Like every part of his skin is completely dry and crinkled. And he just looks completely devoid of liquid and water. And he is definitely dead. Ahead of you, you see a massive lumbering figure, at least 10 feet wide. Its entire body just has these crab legs growing out in almost every direction. There are these black dots on it. Let me expand the visage of it here as I describe it.
You don't need to do that. Oh, jeez.
It is made up of these different interconnecting plates that look like they're made of the stone around. There are blue crystallines on its underbelly, and it has many, many eyes on its front here. It looks like a huge crab combined with like the attributes of a spider. And it has 2 corpses, one in each hand, and it seems to be trading off bites between these dehydrated corpses in the corner here.
That's a roided up mud crab. The corpse of the boy who is in front of me, does it have any images of a kingfisher now that she knows what that looks like on it? Like, is it wearing a pin or something on their hauberk? Or
yeah, it's tucked in under his shirt, but you pull it out. On his neck chain, he has a small coin bearing the indentation of a kingfisher. You've seen one of these before because you have one on your person from the young man you saw, bloated and dead. How long has it been since we've had some combat, baby?
I mean, since we've been in Perian?
No, I mean, at Birdhouse Brawl.
Oh, right. I forgot about Birdhouse Brawl. That was truly a brawl, though. I felt, just because I forgot about it because I didn't feel like we were going to kill those people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which is different than like running into a monster in a dungeon. Not that we couldn't have killed those people.
We did not kill those people.
Some people did.
One person killed someone.
Look, that was just fair bad gameplay on my part. I forgot I'd gotten the 2 Eldritch Blasts, which was reflected in Plato's astonishment.
This thing's kind of a baddie.
Does anyone know if the grease that you conjure with the grease spell is flammable?
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's one where it's distinctly flammable, where it's explicitly written in the spell that it's flammable.
I don't like that you're asking.
This isn't it.
I put my torch out, Inara. I just put my torch out.
Just thinking through the options.
Ooh, it's got some thick armor too, huh? Okay. I'm excited to see how this goes. I cut the second one that was here.
Well, thanks for that.
Can I,
No
before
problem.
we start, can I move to the right and stand in the little glowing circle and just save our progress?
We are not in combat yet. Oh, to save your progress? Oh, sorry, I just got that joke. My bad, I talked over it. Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to change your party or equip anything else?
Yeah, can I actually switch, I'm so sorry, Inara. Can I switch Inara out for Goofy and put in a couple of...
Goofy's shield is pretty good.
It's really
you
good.
Do have Donald spec for the...
I'm going to check also if I can just burn all the things that give me the ability points. I have not fucked with those, and this boss fight suddenly got so hard. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, what's that spell that Donald casts the strongest version of in Final Fantasy? Sherrilyn, do you know
like
what I'm talking about?
Meteoraga or something?
Meteoraga. Technically, on record, Donald Duck and one other person from Final Fantasy
cast the highest Final Fantasy spell.
Yeah. Donald Duck does it in Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Goofy straight up dies, and then they have to rewind time so that it doesn't happen. I cannot express how great the Kingdom Hearts games are.
So good.
This does not exist in my Final Fantasy.
Oh man.
Well, too bad.
Donald Duck's strongest spell. Zeta Flare. This YouTube video is called Donald Duck is the strongest Final Fantasy character. Donald, don't.
What I was going to say was that Sherrilyn is going to tear the chain with the coin off of the boy's neck and shove it into her pocket.
Hell yeah.
She's collecting boy chains now.
All right, folks, you find yourself currently unnoticed by this large hulking creature that seems to be making a meal of these two dehydrated mensicles. At present, an Aarakocra fellow and a dwarven fellow passed. Again, same signs of death as the one before you. Complete dehydration, no water in the body. As it is eating these bones up, what is the plan here?
Does the entrance that we came into this chamber look like it's big enough to accommodate a creature like this?
No, it's pretty narrow. It's cut by that rock on both sides.
So to Sherrilyn, this would imply either it came from another direction in the cave or it's been down here this whole time. But based on the fact that it is currently eating people, I think she would whisper to herself / whoever was close enough to her, I don't think they anticipated this.
I am not going to lead the charge. What are we doing?
What is next to this large crab spider thing? It looks like a raised platform.
It's raised by a couple feet. It seems to be a very nice chair. There is a plate next to it that does seem to have food on it. A slice of cheese and some crackers as you inspect it. As you kind of look from this position down, you notice the like fighting pit. It seems to be filled with arrows as well as these 4 figures made of that same kind of waxy material. It is hard to make out what they look like completely though, because they are just absolutely filled with arrows. Just ramshackle filled with arrows, just stuck through all the way through. The head is on top. Some of them are kind of like melty, like lopsided from the many attacks. You can see sides of sword swipes as well. You've trained men before, Sherrilyn. That's definitely what this is. That raised platform is a place for a quartermaster, or quartermaster's the wrong word, like a drill sergeant, to stand and give orders to men and train them how to fight. That is what the structure of this room is.
And yet I see no one except for this crab spider.
There are corpses. The crab spider has kind of made a nest of them, but there are at least 8-9 men all wearing this kind of roughshod armor. A couple of women as well. Mixed races all the way through. There's more humans here than there are in the makeup of the town. Like there's less Aarakocra and Triton, but there seems to be a conglomerate of men who were gathered in this room. All of them, it's kind of hard to make them as corpses right away because they're all thinned out by the lack of water within their body, as all of them seem to have experienced some sort of mass dehydration.
Do I have a good view of the pit?
Yeah. From an angle, the crab is still very distracted, but from your perspective, you can definitely see the opposite side where these wax figures are stabbed and shot through.
How deep is the pit?
About 10 feet deep.
And the creature, I'm assuming, is
here.
about 10 feet tall?
maybe even 15. It's kind of hard to tell. Some of its body seems to be kind of dug into the ground a little bit underneath it.
I think Sherrilyn would, and she's still crouched. She's kind of like crouch walking back and forth at the fork of this entrance here. And she's going to investigate the other side. Would she be able to establish with some confidence that it would be too narrow for this thing to get through on either side?
At first glance, it does appear that if the creature were to walk at you this way, it would have a very hard time getting through on either side. There is, as you can see here, a kind of a 2-floor raised mechanism. You're kind of going up this rampway here. So you could go underneath, which seems to lead somewhere.
She will return to Plato and Inara, who've, I don't know, been dallying at the entrance here, and she will say, so there is this creature, half crab, half spider, larger than I by twice, and many dead men.
So we don't go that way. And she points to where you just came from.
Yes, I would safely say the other direction is probably safer for us if we don't want to be rid of this creature in total. However, I don't believe the creature was intended to be here by the people who were established. They all appear to be dead. So whomever set the trap for us, or you, Plato, might very well be dead.
Well, it might then be worth taking care of the creature to figure out what happened up there, but if it is as fearsome as you say, avoiding it would probably be better. You did not see any sign of the relics, anything that might have caused the situation up there, just the creature?
The creature and many dead fellows.
I mean, if you saw no big activated floating orbs. Yes, Inara?
How does one kill a bone crusher?
Excellent question, Mr. Ardavian.